Hey, it's nutritionist and maintainable weight loss coach Trisha Mandis here, and I'm thrilled because I have a current client of mine who's been eating optimally for almost 9 weeks now. Anita Solomon, she's 76 years old, lives in Florida, and is going to tell us about her experience in the program and shedding pounds sustainably with optimal eating. So thanks for being here, Anita. I appreciate it.
Well, thanks for asking.
You're welcome. So we're going to hop right into it. What results have you experienced in the program so far, with it not even being 9 weeks in so far?
Well, the amount of weight I've lost is 21, you said.
Yeah,
Um,
pounds.
and I am not sleeping in a neck brace anymore, which like was amazing to me after. And I looked back, it's been like 20 years I've been sleeping in that neck brace because my doctor says it's from the anti-inflammatory effect of this way of eating. And I'm walking better without my walker, which is one of my major goals for joining this group. So, I mean, that's amazing to me, and I'm hopefully going to continue till I don't need it anymore at all.
And how about your blood pressure meds? What happened with those?
Oh, well, my blood pressure meds have been cut in half. And so I'm now taking half the dosage I was taking before.
Yeah.
And my doctor, I'm going to have blood work done. That will be interesting to see. It's going to be on the 30th. And of course, I'll share that with you if
Yeah,
you want to.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
yeah.
So why did you even join the program and hire me as your nutritionist to begin with? What goals did you have for yourself?
I was tired of dieting. For my whole life, I've been dieting and weighing and measuring and points and recording and shopping and it was so consuming. And I had lost over 105 pounds and kept 102 pounds. I always get it mixed up. 102 pounds and kept it all 5.5 years. But then my thyroid quit working, and I kept gaining and gaining and gaining. And I was still on the weight loss program that I lost so much weight on. So I knew what to eat and I knew how to eat. And I was still going to meetings and I kept gaining. And so I just said, the hell with it. If I'm going to gain, I'm going to eat what I want. And so she was a big mistake. And of course, I gained everything back plus more. And everything I tried at this point, without going back and rejoining and going to meetings and all that hullabaloo, I couldn't work it. I couldn't get my weight down at all. Well, I lost 2 pounds and I stood there for a long time, and I just couldn't get any further. And this was my last ditch effort. I needed to do something for my health, and I knew I was going to do. I was pre-diabetic. I don't know if I am anymore. I'm hoping not. I have heart disease very strongly in my background, my relatives. So I didn't want to wait for that to happen. So I needed to do something.
And I'm so glad you did because despite those other things that you tried once you gained the weight back before, not working and not going back to Weight Watchers, you started to eat whole plant foods about 90% of the time. And now your blood pressure's cut in half. You're down 20 pounds. You're not counting calories. You're not portion restricting. You're eating multiple times a day. We got you drinking 64 ounces of water a day now, which is fantastic. You told me this fabulous story before we hopped on, and you went to go visit a girlfriend. And normally you'd have to have the walker to even go into where she lives,
Building.
and you
Yeah.
could just leave it in the car.
Yes. Yes. And I made it. I mean, I
And you're
it
falling asleep better too, or more easily at night now, right?
that was what prompted the neck brace being removed, because the next morning I fell asleep. I didn't have time to put it on. And the next morning, I didn't have the normal pain that I have in my arms and down my hands. And I did speak to the doctor about it. And, it's fine to go without it. So I've been without it now, what, 3.5 weeks?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
that's
no pain in my arms and hands. Yeah.
I know. That's so fabulous. That's fantastic. And before you started eating optimally, you would really struggle to fall asleep. If I remember correctly, you would read in bed for like an hour, and then like 2 or 3 weeks into you eating optimally, you were like, I'm not keeping up with my reading because I'm falling asleep more easily now. And didn't your husband say something to you about how you're like getting out of bed more easily in the morning and faster?
He said he noticed that I had more energy. He noticed it. I tend to discount a lot of feelings that I have because of the fibromyalgia, and comparing one day to another. I've learned, I try to go with the flow.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even notice sometimes. But I had a party for the holidays, and I had 30 people in my house, and I struggle, and I'm exhausted by the time my company gets here, and I don't enjoy the party or the dinner or whatever it is I'm having. And I've never had 30. I have had 20, but I haven't had 30. And that was just, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. So
That made me
that was,
really happy for you because I remember right before you joined, you really wanted to host your family and be the one to have the house. And you're like, I don't know how and if I could do that right now. And within just a few weeks, you were able to do that, like well before you even lost 20 pounds. So that's
yeah.
amazing. And when we first put your eating plan in place, do you remember how you felt when I said, this is what I want you to eat? Um, we talked about those foods that you liked or loved to make sure it was those foods. But were you nervous in the very beginning of eating optimally? You were like, oh my God, is this gonna work? Am I gonna like this?
I didn't know if I could sustain it. I mean, I know once I commit to something, I usually commit 100% or close most of the time. But I didn't know if I could go without eating animal products for the rest of my life, really, which is what's going to have to be if I want to keep the weight off for the rest of my life.
Friendly reminder to you and the person watching this. It doesn't mean you can't ever have a bite for the rest of your life.
Oh,
For each person, it's different. And I know you've had some of those bones and you have had tiny amounts of animal products during our time together. So
yep,
it wasn't all or nothing, but you did highly reduce the amount of animal products and swapped it out for a lot of whole plant foods instead that are more satiating, but you didn't fully give it up. I
correct,
agree with that.
correct. You're right. You're right.
So you were just like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do this. But how do you feel now after it's been almost 9 weeks of eating optimally?
Oh, I feel so much better. I mean, and I'm not, I mean, Stephen, my husband, eats with me at the same table, and he can be eating a steak or a lamb chop or something. And if I get the bone, I'm happy. I make something I really like, because he's having something I really liked in the past. And so I'm happy. I mean, and I'm not tempted, which is shocking to me. I gave my girlfriend donut holes yesterday, fresh from the bakery, and I was not really tempted to have one, although I told her she couldn't eat them in my car.
Which I love, which I love. So you're surprised that you're not missing the foods you used to love as much as you thought you would. The foods that weren't helping you reach your goals, you're not missing them as much as you'd anticipated.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And I feel satisfied. I'm not hungry. And I can have foods that I thought were no-nos before, and I limited myself drastically, having potatoes and rice and all this kind of stuff, and I can have them more or less in unlimited quantities as long as I have the other things that I need to feel satiated.
Mm-hmm.
So it's amazing to me. It's it's a new way of life.
So you liking what you're eating now?
I most part for the I meet one or two recipes that I don't like. I have tried, and I'm not in. I don't usually like to try recipes that are not tried and true
Right.
for me. But I have tried some recipes that I have absolutely loved, and my husband says, "Can I have some of that too?" And my girlfriend asked me to leave the leftovers, another friend, if, and then she asked for the recipe. So, I mean, these are dishes that are yummy. They're just and they're healthy.
Yeah.
That's
Great. I love that. So what you are eating most of the time, you really like it. Sometimes you really love it. And then you're surprised because some foods that you used to like that aren't helping you reach your goals, you don't actually miss them as much as you thought that you would, even when they're in front of you.
exactly, exactly.
Do you regret doing this and working with me?
Absolutely not. It is expensive. I mean, I will say that, but it's worth it up to this point. I wouldn't have known about this, and I feel um, unhappy, angry that why didn't we know? Why was it that I've had a weight problem and gone through all these weight programs for so long and explored? I mean, I used to be a research nurse and in clinical research, and I read stories, I read research outcomes that told me like there are certain fats that are good for you and they offset the bad fats, and that it's not true. It's not, because the latest research that you've linked for me to read have disproven those things. I was putting coconut oil in my cereal every morning because I thought it was healthful,
Mhm,
and it's proved that it's not.
mhm.
So I don't, I'm bitter about not knowing this. Why isn't it publicized? It's like butter versus margarine. They come out with a new study and you switch from one to the other, and the latest research discounts this,
Yeah.
but they don't ever, they give you the positive thing. Oh, coconut oil is so good for you. You need to have it every day. And then when it doesn't turn out to be accurate, they don't give you that news.
Yeah.
So
So
you
I'm
you do all the research for us is the point, and you give me the link and I can read it myself.
mhm. Well, I'm doing what I can, and I'm proud of you because now you're leading by example. So you're going to be part of that change in the world. So make a credit to you. And I am peeking at your evidence list here right now. And you said, um, I put out some clothes for a friend. Um, for her, you're giving some of your clothes away after they had weight loss surgery, and you said, I'm doing this without weight loss surgery.
Yes, I mean, I was up against that. Do I want to have surgery to prevent these disease processes from materializing? And I was trying everything within my power, and you were my last my last effort, because otherwise I would either have to just learn to live this way and let the diseases come and adjust to them as best I can, or avoid it by having weight loss and eating better.
Well, I'm really, really proud of you because skinny people have heart attacks too. So you're eating in the best way to help prevent that from happening even outside of weight while you're losing weight. So, and again, your decrease in pain in your neck and the neck brace is so much more of it is just because of the food you're eating, not solely from the weight loss. So,
Exactly. I mean, my doctor says it's the anti-inflammatory effects of this
mhm.
way of eating.
Yeah. So what would you say to the person, especially if they're in their 70s, thyroid diagnosis, they've tried everything, they've lost 75, 100 pounds in the past, gained it back. They're a little worried about giving up foods that they do like, and but they feel a little hopeless. What would you say to that woman?
They try it. I mean, this is like a miracle for me to be able to do something about it without having major surgery, and wanting to avoid all these other diseases that are right around the corner for me. It's in the past, I hope. Yeah. So it's worth it.
Great. Well, I'm so proud of you, and you are really a leading example. And I cannot wait to share your story and experience and to keep hearing from you as you continue to keep kicking butt because I know you're gonna, this is just the beginning.
But I'm not going to pole dance.
Yes, you are. I'm gonna get you on that pole, Anita. I'm gonna get you on that pole. All right. Thank you so much, Anita.
You're welcome.